This video is a remake for the 777 project. I made a video for this project several months ago, but it's now gone. So I'm going to remake it. Feel free to edit it in any way you see. Why I became a Satanist. First off, I want to say that people don't convert to Satanism. People are born a Satanist. And from a very young age, I was never quite satisfied with what I was told. I was never quite convinced of the theories of creation and of God, and I've always looked at the Bible as being kind of a fairy tale. I never took it seriously. I kind of lumped it into the same class as Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy. Interesting and amusing, but to be taken with a grain of salt or a bag of salt. Nothing traumatic happened to me. I was raised in a middle class family, split family, but at the same time there's no traumatic event. I was never molested, I was never beaten, I was never abused in any serious manner like that. I was raised Catholic, and by the time I was around 10, 11, I really despised going to church. I didn't like it. It was creepy. It was just creepy. It was this ritual and dogma and the hypocrisy behind it. It just didn't make any sense. And I didn't like holding old men's hands sitting next to me and singing praises to this imaginary friend that we call God. It just didn't settle right with me. It creeped me out. I really was seriously, genuinely uncomfortable going to church. And I had to go like twice a month. It sucked. I didn't like it. By the time I was around 12 or 13, I stumbled across a guy that was a little older than me. And he was into King Diamond and who was else back then? Yeah, King Diamond, Slayer. He was a Satanist. He was a heavy metal Satanist, and I kind of looked up to him. And he was several years older than me. I think he was like maybe 16, 17, and he used to pal around with the Satanic Bible, and I read it. He gave it to me one day, and I read it, and it made a lot of sense. It was like kind of a revelation for me, because I finally found something I could identify with emotionally and philosophically. It made a lot of sense to me. I had always felt this way about the world and about life, but I had never read anything or was able to identify with any other group that felt the same way I did. Granted, I was 13, so my knowledge of the world and philosophy was limited for sure, but the Satanic Bible made a lot of sense. And ever since then, I spent the next 10 years kind of devouring not only anti-LaVey's books but other books in the occult, trying to find truth in everything. And when I turned 18, I became a member of the Church of Satan. Since then, I've just been living life. I mean, that's what Satanism is all about. It's not about cruelty and hurting other people. It's not about, prosperity at any expense. It's a religion based on man's carnal needs and desires, a religion based on rationality and earthly principles instead of spiritual ones and intangible theories. So that's kind of where I felt. I found that identity a long time ago, and here I am.